Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Okay, so in the last video I just posted, I covered, I'd say, the meat of the Q3 markets report. I couldn't get to it the day it was released because I was out of town. Very regrettable. And I was so frustrated I cited that in the last video because I was waiting for that and I wanted to pounce on it as soon as it came out and cover it in depth. It was not in the cards for good old Moon Lambeau, but I got to talk about it today, so I feel a little better now. I did save this piece. There's a piece pertaining to on-demand liquidity. That's the movement of XRP, formerly known as xRapid, utilizing XRP as a bridge currency. I'm going to talk about that in this video, and take a look at this piece, which pairs up with it oh so perfectly. XRP Transactions moved in batches of 40,000 XRP between Bitso and Bitstamp. So I'm going to be running through that with you. And I've got a Twitter thread that I really rather enjoyed. And it's one of those things where it's like this individual is clearly engaging in critical thinking. And I don't agree with 100% of what this individual in the XRP community wrote, but I sure as hell agree with a lot. And the things on which I disagree with them, it's smaller things. So I'm going to share that with you, and the way I always approach this type of thing is, if you disagree with me, that's okay. If you agree with me, that's perfectly okay. I just like that we're like, the whole thing with me on this channel is I just want to get to the truth of the matter. I won't be correct about everything, and my opinions can certainly change over time, but I'm always going to be forthcoming and transparent as it pertains to like what I actually think, and I just want to get conversation going. So no matter what you think on some of the stuff that I'm going to cite in this video and what's covered in this Twitter thread, which I found genuinely fascinating, it's okay. I like diversity of thought, so that's just I just want to cite that's where I'm always coming from with stuff like this. And then the last piece I'm going to cover in this video, it's from the Daily Hodl. Crypto will power real estate portfolio worth $1 billion. Landmark London hotel to be tokenized. And of course, it's unrelated to XRP. This is an XRP-centric channel, and as a result, I'm holding off on that story till the very end of this video. But if you want to stick around, I certainly appreciate it. If not, that's cool. I totally get it, but I think it's a fascinating story. Now, before we get going, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, you're a gosh darn good person in my book. Let's go ahead and stay in touch. You know we can do that? You can subscribe. And you can comment below. We can interact. It'll be a hoot. So let's go ahead and do that. Who doesn't want to have a hoot? Let's dig into this first piece now. Ripple's Q3 report highlighted the active use of its on-demand liquidity platform through various established corridors with prominent partnerships. These corridors saw transaction flooding in Q3, which marked a 75% increase. And so again, when I cited at the beginning of the video, I covered the meat of the XRP markets report released by Ripple. I noted in that last video that I was going to talk about this portion in a future video. All right, but partly because the video would just go too long if I didn't kind of chop it up anyway. But there's another piece here which I'm now covering, which of course goes perfect with it. But anyway, however, Alex Cobb, an XRP enthusiast, noted a spike in the ODL, on-demand liquidity, transactions in batches of 40,000 XRP per transaction on October 20th. Cobb pointed at an earlier incident where the ODL transactions were being batched at 7,500 XRP per transfer, and provided a medium to view ODL transactions on Twitter. This medium drew attention to several transactions taking place between Bitso and Bitstamp that marked the likeliness of the transactions being on-demand liquidity. However, despite the heavy transactions, ODL was limited only to the above-mentioned exchanges. Now, again, of course, Bitso, that's the Mexican exchange, and as you may know, and if not, let me go ahead and drop some science on you. The exchanges that are being utilized in the initial payments flow of xRapid, now known as on-demand liquidity, it's from the United States to Mexico. And so in the United States, you have the official xRapid, again, now ODL, powered exchange, Bittrex, again in the United States. And so that can flow out to Bitso in Mexico. And the Philippines is the other corridor that initially Ripple's really tackling, utilizing on-demand liquidity. And that was coins.ph anyway. So Bitso, rather substantial here, very, very important. And then writes, additionally, on October 6th, another such instance was brought to attention by Twitter user @HallwayMonitor. The transactions taking place between Bitstamp and Bitso were heavy on XRP. Almost 28 transactions were noted where the transacting amount exceeded 28,000 XRP between the two exchanges, causing a spike in volume on Bitso. You can see they got a chart here. To understand conceptually what's going on with the story, don't feel like you have to stop and look at your screen if you're just like, maybe you're doing a light jog or walking your dog, or maybe you're driving, in which case you should not become crashed into another vehicle, and the odds of you becoming crashed into another vehicle increase if you're looking at the screen of your cellular device, so don't do that. However, it appeared that Cobb's observation of these massive transactions has already left imprints on the charts denoting on-demand liquidity progress. At HMATEJX on Twitter shared the on-demand liquidity statistics with the community to highlight the growth of the feature over time, which is on the screen right now. The chart noted the all-time high of on-demand liquidity in Q3, but also shows an increased demand in Q4 despite just 20 days in. Irrespective of the performance of XRP in the market, the demand for on-demand liquidity transactions has been on a rise and noted a new all-time high in October 19th with 1.25 million recorded in transfers. Now, all of this is substantial because, again, the way that I see this ecosystem working, and it's not just me, it's the way that Ripple, by and large, understands that this is going to work, at least from what I've gathered from live streams I've seen from even, like, for instance, ex-Ripple employee Bob Way, like the way they envision this all unfolding. And part of what I have learned, the way in which the ecosystem is going to unfold, and none of this, of course, is financial advice whatsoever, but it's as people continue to speculate, there will be an opportunity for additional financial institutions, banks, remittance companies to jump on board utilizing XRP for on-demand liquidity. As speculators see that there is real-world adoption taking place, that will give them additional confidence to invest in XRP because they'll think, hey, this might be not only be here for the long haul, but maybe even be worth more in the future. And so that's the way the ecosystem works. As long as there's real utility, real adoption, bam, eventually something will happen. Again, not financial advice, but that's, again, the way it's actually going. We're seeing real-world adoption, and XRP is indeed the only cryptocurrency being used in the commercial production of anything. Out of the thousands of coins that exist, yes, indeed, there is one, and it's XRP. And you can see here on the from the Ripple Insights report, RippleNet on-demand liquidity ODL/xRapid. Ripple, and this is straight from Ripple, Ripple continues to experience high customer demand for on-demand liquidity, formerly known as xRapid, which leverages XRP to source liquidity for cross-border transactions, enabling instant settlement and more efficient use of working capital. XRP is ideally suited for global payments because it is faster, less costly, and far more scalable than other digital assets. This is great. Here is a quick snapshot of XRP versus Bitcoin, and this is as of October 14th this year. XRP speed, 3.8 seconds versus 9.2 minutes for Bitcoin. XRP, 1,500 plus transactions per second. Bitcoin, 7 transactions per second. Go home, Bitcoin, you're drunk. All right, XRP, fee. 0.0003 cents versus Bitcoin at 75.8 cents. Not even freaking close. Why would you use such inferior layer 1 technology? It just makes no damn sense. While Bitcoin's utility is often highlighted as a store of value, we believe XRP is by far the best digital asset for global payments. Ripple customers live with ODL, including MoneyGram and others, increased by 75% last quarter, with dollar volume on-demand liquidity increased by more than 5 times from Q2 to Q3. That is astonishing there. Look, and so again, it's not that news like this instantly makes the price of XRP jump up, but if you, like, again, not financial advice, I don't have a financial background, but from my everyday Joe Schmo opinion, is that if you see real-world adoption of a particular cryptocurrency, might you think that if this adoption continues along these lines, that perhaps over time the rest of the world might figure this out, and perhaps you actually did stumble upon this, do your own research, and find out that this is actually rather important for the long haul. If you think that's the case, and I do, what do you think, big picture, that's going to mean for the price of XRP? Is it going to stay at the price level it's at? Is it going to decrease as adoption increases? No. And again, not financial advice. Please don't take it like that. But from my perspective, it makes no sense that over time people would not eventually just figure this out. And I believe that XRP will be worth in the future substantially more than it is today. And I think it will, at some point, don't know when, because I don't make price predictions, I believe at some point it will indeed smash through its all-time high of $3.92 in January of 2018, which is the price, all-time high price, according to Live Coin Watch. So there you go. Take a look at this, and I want to say all the way 08. Thank you very much for tagging me in this. He wrote, and this is in response to the Twitter thread I cited at the beginning here. Phenomenal, you hit the nail on the head, and you cut through a lot of the BS out there. I think Ripple has been saying as much as well. A lot of folks on crypto Twitter want to think there is a grand conspiracy to make XRP the world reserve currency. 1,500 transactions per second isn't enough. So that's the comment and opinion, especially on transactions per second, from all the way 08. Now check out this Twitter thread. Again, whatever you think, maybe you agree with all of this or none of it, and that's perfectly fine. I like to get conversation going, so even if you disagree with some of this, keep it friendly and just share your opinion, and that's cool. You can kind of persuade people. It's kind of the cool thing about social media. You can indeed change minds. And if you make sense, you can change my mind. So anyway, here you go. I agree with most of this, but not all. So here's the Twitter thread. XRP endgame theory. And I'm going to read this all as one piece. In the following tweet thread, I present my thesis for why I believe the XRP ledger, and by extension, the XRP digital asset, will be the dominant bridge currency in the world. I stand by this thesis until new information/technology presents itself. And indeed, like I always say, I share my opinions, my honest opinions as they stand right now, but I'm not ideologically bound to anything. I'm not here as like Bitcoin maxis. They're here because, the whole down with banks, down with government. Many of them are, right? I'm just here because this is what makes sense. And if something changes, you can bet I'm going to tell you, because in my mind, you would deserve to know, because I respect you, just as an audience, I absolutely do. So I don't suspect my opinion is going to change, but again, if something actually shifts, I'm going to tell you. So here we go. First off, what I don't think will happen with XRP, the Federal Reserve will not use it. And by the way, this is from, I should have said the name, this is from Santiago Velez. This is on Twitter here. So the Federal Reserve will not use it, IMF will not use it, World Bank will not use it, average consumer most likely will not use it directly or hold it in any great quantity. No central bank will use it, nor should they. I don't think Ripple's grand plan is to incentivize any of the above institutions to hold it in any great quantity, even with regulatory certainty. This is despite the hyperbolic and speculative claims made by the vast majority of YouTube. I think the endgame is even bigger, and I'm proud to say I'm not part of that. This is a non-hype channel. I do not hype, and even when we talk about price, I'm basically just sharing other people's opinions and citing that I don't know where the price is going. I just think it makes for fun videos. Anyway, the most brilliant conceptual leap made by Ripple, R3, IBM, etc. is the concept of interoperability. This concept lends itself to establishing a Layer 1 protocol for value transfer in the same manner TCP/IP is a Layer 1 information protocol. This is the core of my thesis. Ripple is working as a software enterprise consultant to the largest financial institutions in the world, knowing full well they can't accept counterparty risk, nor can they kingmake. The Fed can't be seen to favor one technology, nor the IMF, nor the BOJ, nor BOA/Santander. Ripple knows that if they all agree to interoperate using the Interledger protocol, they will create the bridges necessary for a level playing field. At present, the XRP ledger consensus methodology for resolving/storing/escrowing value fast and security is unparalleled. The Internet of Value is the end game. Customized distributed ledger technology, market/product fit, is used ubiquitously to represent the liquidity of all human assets, both real and virtual. The transactions per second this entails cannot be accommodated by any single ledger. All central banks, and by the way, that goes back to the concept of not one coin to rule them all. But anyway, all central banks will digitize fiat, CBDCs. All banks will have coins to represent their internal assets, JPM coin. But I don't completely agree with that. Some banks will, and for some banks, it would make no sense for them to each try and have their own little closed network or this or that. I'm not convinced of that, but I'd be open-minded to hear more as to why he believes that. I think that there will be some banks that have their own coins, but still, you're just siloing off, currencies, basically. It's additional silos, and then you still need a bridge currency connector. But anyway, that's his opinion. All public peer-to-peer chains will have their consensus values, BTC, ETH, etc. All assets/securities will be tokenized real estate, stocks, bonds, derivatives, and tokenization indeed. I'm going to be talking about that more in terms of property in just a second. How will value travel from these walled gardens ecosystem to ecosystem? Will there be one currency to rule them all, like Bitcoin? Absolutely not. Only human value will rule, and all human value will be tokenized/digitized. The bridges will be the connectors to the IOV/ILP. The value transfer between ledgers will be facilitated in large part by atomic transactions by the XRP ledger, and will be super technical, and with zero counterparty risk. This is the endgame, eliminating all counterparty risk in a human value transfer with XRP. So you can tell me what you think about that. Do you agree with all, some, none of it? I am curious. I just want to get the conversation going, and there are a couple things in there where I'm very curious to hear. I would be very curious to hear this individual's take on why they believe some of that, but I don't know. We'll just see where it goes. All right, and there's a tweet. I just want to give a quick shout out. This is a tweet from @TipTalon, who wrote, Moonlambo. My inner XRP bull is getting mighty confident these days, so much so that I looked into cashing $1,600-ish Bitcoin. Said transaction was going to cost $55. The crypto king is dead. Long live the crypto king, XRP. All right, well, thank you very much, good sir, for tagging me. I appreciate the sentiment. Last piece here from Daily Hodl. Crypto will power real estate portfolio worth $1 billion. Landmark London Hotel will be tokenized. This is the increasingly liquid world that I frequently talk about. According to PropTech from Liquify, an award-winning luxury hotel situated in London's affluent Mayfair district is being tokenized. The technology provider will allow people to purchase tokenized securities backed by the property. According to the company's press release, the Landmark Hotel is located in a redeveloped historic building with views of Hyde Park and Mayfair. Currently owned by a consortium of Gulf families, the hotel is part of a larger real estate portfolio worth $1 billion that will become tokenized, enabling fractional sales to interested investors and allowing ownership transfers to be recorded, tracked, and traded on the blockchain. My lord, this is exactly what I've been talking about on and off for months and months and months on this channel. Here it is. Moonlambo's right. This is happening, and you're going to see it's not that literally everything on the planet is going to be tokenized. You know, like I don't plan on tokenizing my pet peeve, which for those of you that don't know is my 4-year-old terrier mix. Probably not a need to do that, for example. She's a sweet dog. She doesn't need to be tokenized. But I'm just saying, like, this is the direction we're going, and it makes a lot of sense. Cut out the middleman. It's not necessary. You don't need this additional human labor to make sure that transactions are completely accurate if you have sufficient cryptography in place. Anyway, says Adrian Lai, CEO of Liquify, as blockchain technology progresses, we're seeing accelerating interest in digital securities from the real estate sector. The deal sizes and pipeline have grown exponentially over the past year. We're certain that there's huge potential for technology to enable new business models in the real estate ecosystem that lower operational costs and increase liquidity. This is the direction the world is going, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I am not a financial investor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!